Welcome to the Green Tea channel. This is Tristan. It's good to have the Green Tea team back. Today is Wednesday, the 17th of June, and it is 7:30 p.m. That will come in as the stream continues. Big thanks and appreciation for all of the people who have liked and subscribed and viewed the previous videos. I checked today, we have had, the Green Tea channel has had almost 500 views in the last 28 days. So it's great that people are engaging with the content. If you're coming in here, if you could like and subscribe to the channel. And a big thank you to people who have been sharing my content. My topics aren't on the YouTube's most liked themes and topics and subjects, so I'm relying on people to share, get other people involved, and it's nice when I'm connecting with people that have viewed the content. We're having discussions, they're sharing their opinions and that type of thing. A shout out to Walk In here in Suncourt, Shirley, the owner there. I had my hair cut today from her. They are great. Highly recommend that local business. Today, the topic we're going to be talking about is sovereignty, personal sovereignty and freedom, or the New World Order, which is control from a remote body. As individuals, we are endowed with the freedom, personal freedom of and rights and choices. It's a high spiritual precept that as humans, as the highest life form on this planet, the difference between us and all of the other animals is we have the ability to have faith, we have free will and freedom to choose. We're not as driven by instincts, instinctual behaviors as the animal kingdom. So, and we have personal sovereignty over ourselves. We can choose positive actions. We can choose negative actions. We can choose, we have the right of choice, free choice, and free will, which separates us from all of the other life forms on this planet. We are the highest, most intelligent form of life on planet Earth. And in our communities and in our society, we've like in New Zealand and the Western countries, we vote for our governments. We live in our communities, and like we vote for our local councils and our local governments and our government that oversees the running of the country. And everyone within that system also lives in our communities. They live in our country. They understand what is going on. They are accountable to us as the people who have voted them in. They are responsible and are accountable to us clearly, and they're involved in our communities. So if we have an issue with a councillor or something the councillor is doing, we can contact them. We generally know them. They know what's going on, and we can get things changed because they are in contact and they really know what's going on because they are from this place. Also, but if you look at some of the things like maybe an example of that not happening, that non-local, the way things were based at the They had it in the UK with the European Union. So they had a conglomerate of countries, all different, with an overseeing body running some parts of their structure. So they had a structure that covered all of these countries, so they could all work together with one currency. They could all freely interact with each other. And they had big problems with that. Because the mothership in Brussels or wherever it was would put out these rules to all of the countries within this group, and they didn't necessarily work well. I was listening to farmers in the UK saying that they would get these tariffs or things passed by the EU that really it did not work well for them in their communities and in their country. So that the detachment, that separation of having a body away controlling countries outside of its own, they were having big problems. I only researched what was happening with the British and the countries in the UK, but they had big problems with tariffs and this type of thing. And then they couldn't. It was hard for them because they didn't have the same accountability as like our local government has. Our government in New Zealand, like nation states that have borders and democratically elected people representing the people as their public servants, they have far more accountability, and they have to work for the people more because they are the people. They're in the communities, and they know that they are fully accountable to the people who voted them in. They know those people. They know the communities and the places that they work for. So when we get things like that's why the UK wanted to pull away from the EU. It just was not working. This kind of, I called it in the title, the New World Order. So it's this kind of big mothership overseeing these many different places and countries, like controlling them. We had another, other than the EU, we had also in 2017, New Zealand was going to be joining a whole lot of countries in the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. And a lot of the green supporters and this sort of thing were upset about that, because large companies and they would have some control over what we could do as consumers in New Zealand, especially in the health food industry, this type of thing. If that it hasn't gone through, thank the blessed Lord, but that Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement that Donald Trump's was one of the great things he did was he squashed that. He pulled the states out, and that basically stopped us joining. It meant that these multinational companies, part of that agreement was that they would have rights to control certain things in certain sectors in our country. And I was completely against that happening, because I knew that it would affect, and a lot of green supporters I knew were unhappy with how these outside entities could have control and say and input over what's happening here, what I can or cannot buy in a health food shop, what a pharmacy can or cannot sell. So it's this type of remote, unelected by the people of the country, that is and can be a big issue. And we're seeing it now with the UN. The two big players at the moment are the World Unhealth Organization. Shout out to the Dollar Vigilante for coining that phrase, the World Unhealth Organization, and the UN. They have these things that they want to implement worldwide. That's why I called it the New World Order. And the UN has a page. I'll leave a link when I repost this for people to watch it later. The UN now has a page on their website called the New World Order. And they want to implement these strategies in the guise of worldwide health and wellness, worldwide product. The wording is nice, but you dig below the nice wording, and it's basically the galactic empire and their Death Star. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Controlling the galaxy of the world with what they think is best, how they think it's best to do. New Zealand does have a member on the UN, but they're not elected by us. They do not know what is best for us. We know what is best for us because we are sovereign, free and sovereign beings. And we have to be very mindful when I know the Hamilton District Council is bringing in certain things, UN-based policies, into its way of being. It's been happening since 2012. So I really want to make people aware that when these World Health, Unhealth Organization, UN type directives are coming, they do not know what is best. That's why I like Japan and other places where they stick to their what is best for their people, their communities, their economy. They're not at the moment with our political thing. It's just like we've just gone hard, you know, in the direction that everyone else is going. It's just like, uh, you know, and yeah, it is not in the best interest of us to be following remote entities, the World Health Organization, World Unhealth Organization, Bill and Melinda Gates. They're one of their biggest funders. Also, they're connected strongly to China. They're not, these bodies are corrupt and not worth the paper they're written on. To be honest, I would not trust either of those organizations as far as I could throw them. So yeah, as these directives are coming through and like our government is buying in to the whole program, we're the poster child for the UN and the World Unhealth Organization. We're front and center, and we need to speak up. This is our country. These are our public servants. We pay their wages. All the money they are spending is our tax money. They're not making the money. We pay them. They're our servants. They represent us. So the other day I said they need to take responsibility, the government and this sort of thing, but we need to take responsibility as individuals. We need to take responsibility. If we're not happy, we need to speak up. We need to question, tell our public officials, tell our public servants what we're feeling, what we're thinking. and not just, a lot of people in New Zealand have just taken knees. They're just taking a knee. The time for taking knees is not now. The time now is to stand up, support each other. I say it on all my videos. Have courage, speak your truth, support each other, have faith and have fun. Speak your truth, support each other. I appreciate the support I get from people who come in and support me, share my message, and people resonate. People resonate with someone, speaking their truth without an agenda. Just honestly speaking, there's a resonation that people resonate with that conviction and truth and honesty. No agenda. There's no agenda. Yeah. And we are a silent minority. There's not a lot of people out there going and speaking up at this time.